Hey there, everyone. Welcome to this week's show, The Night Sky This Week, for January 11th, Monday, 2021. Here we go. We've got the sky set up for Monday at sunset. Now remember, when I'm talking about different times of the day, during the show, this is referring to your local time, generally speaking. So here we have sunset on Monday, but this is going to be the case mostly for this week as well. If you're looking towards the southwest, very low, if you have a clear line of sight towards the southwest after your local sunset, you'll notice three star-like objects, three dots that greet you in the low southwestern sky. And what those are, of course, are those wonderful planets, neighboring planets in our solar system. And there's three: Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn. And the brightest of the three will be Jupiter, with the second brightest, believe it or not, will be Mercury, and the faintest Saturn. Now, why I say that's kind of startling for some, I think, is that Mercury usually is the most challenging object to see. But in this week, it's really rising higher in our skies. Mercury is becoming a more prominent object, and while Jupiter and Saturn are quickly waning as they're getting closer and closer to the sun from our vantage point, from our sky view. They're not physically getting close, these planets, remember that, but they are actually appearing to get closer. As you can see, the sunset here, the glow of the sunset here, as you can see on the horizon, and this is becoming more of a challenge. But if you have binoculars, it makes it a lot easier. If you have a clear view towards the southwest, try not to miss this. This is going to be a great view, like Monday night here. You can see Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn in a triangular formation. We saw this occurring over this past weekend as well. So this is an absolutely wonderful way to begin a sky watching night, is to head out just very soon after your local sunset. This is where, the timing here is really critical, guys, because what we're talking about here is that critical time window where the sun has set, it's getting a little bit darker, you've got the glow in the southwest, right? And then you're trying to hunt down those points of light. And this is the tricky part, because as you're waiting, those points of light will be sinking in your local horizon. So if I kind of move this forward, minute by minute, you can see as it's darkening, that's great, it's darkening your skies, but these planets are sinking closer and closer to the horizon, meaning that they're going to get trickier and trickier to see, because you might have like a hill in the way, buildings. So it gets a bit trickier, but you might be able to see them better if you have a clear view towards the southwest. That's really the trick with viewing this pairing of planets. And remember, these planets are at wildly different positions in the solar system, right? So if we kind of look at it in the orbital view, magically we kind of move out and see it from far off. Here, of course, is Jupiter up close, but let's zoom out of Jupiter, and I'll show you with the sort of the lay of the land of the solar system, right? So if we move out and we see all these different satellites that are shown there, but you see these lines, these curved lines, these circular lines, those are the paths of the planets, right? So what we're seeing here is the entire solar system from above. If we could magically go above the plane of the solar system, if we go sideways on the solar system, you see that's the plane of the solar system. You see how most of the planets, except for our friend there, Pluto, he's the outcast, right? Generally all the planets move along the same plane, right? The same plane. See above the solar system, kind of on the side of the solar system, and below the plane of the solar system. So all the tracks of the planets, as you can see, this is where the planets are currently this week, generally speaking. So the week of the 11th. I've got it now specifically for the night of the 11th, but it gives you the general idea. And if we zoom in towards, we have the outer solar system that starts with Jupiter and then Saturn, and then we have the central part of the solar system that you can see below here. There's Mercury, there's the sun at the center, and there you got Venus, Mercury, and all that. And if you look carefully, look how Jupiter and Saturn, so from our vantage point here, we're on the other side. Let me just zoom out. Here you can see Earth is on the other side of the sun compared to where Mercury and Jupiter and Saturn are. And do you see what I mean by, if you think of yourself viewing, we're stuck on our little blue marble and we're looking up into the sky towards the sun, right? Very close to the sun. And look what's very close to the sun from our vantage point, Jupiter and Saturn, right? So remember what it looks like in our sky. Jupiter and Saturn are very close to the sun. This is why they appear close to the sun when you look up in the sky after sunset, because they seem to be happen to be in that direction from our vantage point, right? We're here on Earth, and this is where Jupiter and Saturn are. And of course, little Mercury too. Mercury is just over beside the sun. You can see right there, that's little Mercury. So the Earth, Mercury, and then you have Jupiter and Saturn. And this is why they appear like that in our sky. So if we zoom back magically to our sky, here we go, and we're magically back on Earth, you can see there's Saturn, there's Jupiter, there's Mercury. Now I hope you kind of get a better feel for that physically, like in 3 dimensions of why they are, so they're not physically close. There's hundreds of millions of kilometers or miles that separate our worlds from each other, but yet they appear close together, huddled close together in our sky after sunset. So something really beautiful all week long to see. Catch that definitely. Now, let's move a little bit later on Monday. Monday night, January 11th. Another thing that you can see on January 11th or any night this week, because the moon is out of our evening sky for the most part. This is fantastic, a dark time. So you know, I like to talk about what we call deep sky treasures, deep sky objects. So for those of you that are new to sky watching, deep sky refers to objects that are beyond the solar system. So beyond Pluto, beyond the Oort cloud that's filled with comets, far off, outside are other stars, star clusters that are huddled together, or galaxies, entire islands of stars, just like the Milky Way that we're embedded in, our home galaxy. Nebula, which are gas and dust clouds. Those are all called deep sky objects. So anything outside of the solar system for sky watchers. And so the moon, which is usually very bright and kind of distracts from seeing deep sky objects, really being able to explore them. This week, the moon is mostly out of the way. In fact, there'll be new moon this week. You can check it out on the ticker below here, the exact timing for when new moon happens officially this week. But that basically means that the moon is dark from our perspective. The surface, the face of the moon is dark. Therefore, we get beautifully dark skies, clear skies for deep sky observing. So without further ado, what could we see this week? And so one of the great things to see in the evening sky, if we kind of move towards, let's say, mid-evening, 8, 9 p.m. local time, we'll turn on the constellations and we see what the names are as well. And what you'll see high up in the skies, in the evening in the west, looking towards the west, the very high west, you'll see, of course, the planets Mars and Uranus very close together. But beside that will be this box-like constellation, which is actually the chest of Pegasus, the flying horse. That is really prominent. It's officially sort of like a fall constellation. So we're in winter now in the northern hemisphere, and so traditionally this is a fall constellation, but it's still very visible, very evident, and high up in the sky in the southwest western part, attached to Pegasus is Andromeda, the princess. Right? So Andromeda is kind of upside down for us at this point, attached to the chest of the flying horse, which is represented by this giant square, which is called the Great Square of Pegasus. As you can see, there's the Great Square of Pegasus, and there's Andromeda right there, just to the right of Mars, that bright orange star. It's the brightest orange star in the southwestern sky. You can't miss it, and it'll give you a good guidepost in seeing this trail of stars, really two trails of stars that are marked near the head of Andromeda, which is shared with the corner star of the Great Square of Pegasus, called Alpheratz. That's the name of that brilliant star. Alpheratz is really where the head of Andromeda Princess begins. And then there's these two trails of stars. You can see side by side, two trails that kind of move off in a V-shaped configuration. And that is Andromeda. Something really neat. Try to find that in the skies on Monday night, January 11th, or any other night this week. It's a great deep sky kind of configuration to be able to really see the constellation there. Now, if we move to Tuesday morning and we move out, zoom out, and then we move towards the southeastern sky in the morning, and we look towards the morning. Here we are at sunrise, and I'll put it to exactly at sunrise. There we are. And you look very low towards the southeast. This is, again, Tuesday morning, January 11th. This is an observing challenge, folks, is to see the near new moon, a razor-thin crescent moon, Tuesday morning. And this is, again, all about timing, being able to catch this. It's a neat view. If you have binoculars, this is when you bring out your binoculars and use Venus as a guidepost. You'll have that brilliant star in the southeast. Again, Tuesday, January 12th is when what we're talking about in the morning at dawn. You got to get up at dawn and see this before sunrise. This is a critical time window of seeing Venus, and then below it, lower left of it, that razor-thin crescent moon. You can try to see, I'm trying to show you on this planetary program, that razor-thin crescent moon. This is pretty much an absolute challenge, but try to see that. That is an impressive view, is the near new moon with this whisker-thin crescent moon that it is next to Venus. A great pairing. So again, I'll be putting a sky chart for this on my timeline on Instagram, if you like to be there, and on my Facebook timeline. Again, if you're new here, why don't you join? I'd love for you to be my stargazing friend. I've got folks everywhere around the world who love to do sky watching, and what I do is share some of these neat things. And so follow, subscribe. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. Show your support so I can do more videos like this every week. I love to share my passion with you. So we've got amazing thing again, January 12th, Tuesday morning. Now, if we move over into the evening time, so here we go, and we're going into the evening, Tuesday evening, January 12th. Again, the moon is out of the sky, basically. It's dark. It leaves behind a dark sky when we have officially on Tuesday evening, we have the new moon phase. So it's a great time to see dark sky stuff. And one of those things that's really worth seeing is one of my favorite challenges. Again, binoculars, small telescopes preferred for this observing challenge. And this is a supernova remnant that we're going to be talking about. So we look towards the southeast after darkness falls. Could be any time in the early evening. If you wait for later in the evening, then you're looking for it towards the south. You're looking for basically to the left of Mars, which is an orange star in the sky, and you're looking for this V-shaped configuration that's on its side with the bright star Aldebaran marking one of the sides of the V. This is the face of Taurus the Bull. One of my ultimate favorite constellations is Taurus because it's just chock full of amazing things. And one of those amazing things that you can see, I'm going to see if I can put on my deep sky different objects that are that I want it to be the planetarium program to actually showcase it, is right on one of the tips of the horns, the tips of one of the horns of Taurus the bull. And you can see right here the two horn tips marked by these two bright stars. And the lower star, the one at the top horn, end of the horn, is brighter than the other one. But the fainter one, which is marked by the star Zeta Tau, there is an object you can see marked by the square here. So you're looking basically where you see the V-shaped Hyades cluster. That's what this is named. That's the face of the bull. Easy to find Aldebaran, the very bright star Aldebaran. And then you move down to the left. You kind of sweep with your telescope. Look for this two bright stars that mark the ends of the horns of Taurus the bull. And then just to the lower bright star, we zoom in, and just above it, you can see marked by that square, is this amazing deep sky object. It's called Messier 1, named after Charles Messier, an astronomer who lived in the 1700s, a French astronomer who put together 110 objects called the Messier list. And this is number 1 on that list. It's an amazing object, and it's small. Let me see if I can actually show it. I don't know if it's actually showing this object. Show the images. There it is. See, it's quite small, very small. High power binoculars are good to catch sight of it, perhaps. Strong pair of binoculars, but better yet is a small telescope. And if you zoom in on it, this is called the Crab Nebula, also known as Messier 1. One of my favorite objects because this is the remnant of an exploding star. A giant star that had exploded a long time ago, thousands of years ago, and we see the remnant of it. And it's absolutely beautiful. The remnants are absolutely beautiful. Here's a photograph of the Crab Nebula. And the Crab Nebula really represents a star explosion. You can see that cloud. We've actually measured the cloud moving apart. We can actually see it over many years. We've been able to measure this cloud moving apart. This cloud is about 6,200 light years away. Can you imagine that? 6,200 light years away. And it's one of the most famous supernova remnants in the entire sky. And it was first noted, which was really interesting, by Chinese astronomers in the year 1054 AD, folks. There are records that Chinese astronomers have noted. We have them. And it shows that there was a bright star that suddenly appeared in the constellation Taurus in the year 1054 AD. And this is now something that we can still see, expanding this cloud as it is. It's expanding in our sky. And we can see that with a small backyard telescope. And it's right next to the bright star. It's not that bright, but it's visible even in suburban skies as one of the tips, the ends of the horns of Taurus the bull. And it acts as a wonderful guidepost in finding the Crab Nebula. Again, I put this out as an observing challenge. If you've got small telescopes, maybe a 3-inch, 4-inch telescope with a mirror there, any kind of telescope, this is a great challenge for you to see this week with no moon in the sky. So why don't we move on to Wednesday night? On Wednesday night, there's going back, staying in Taurus, why don't you give a try to see another beautiful open star cluster, one of the most famous star clusters in Taurus, visible right now. It's a wintertime constellation, high in the east, southeastern sky in the early evening, and just above, again, starting at the face of the bull, Aldebaran. There's the bright star Aldebaran. I've got it marked here right now on the screen, and if we move above, you'll see it has the Pleiades star cluster right there. And if we see the Pleiades star cluster, it has some what we call nebula or gas clouds surrounding these stars. These are still young baby stars. They're still wrapped in their baby blankets, you could call it. It's really cute. And they're a few million years old. They're still considered baby stars, and they're wandering away eventually from each other. But this is a wonderful cluster. Looks fantastic through a backyard telescope. This is a great image of the Pleiades through a backyard telescope. Fantastic. It's about 350 to 400 light years away. It's one of the closest open star clusters, or galactic star clusters as they're called, to the Earth, and that's why they shine brilliant. To the naked eye, you can see this. This week is a great time with no moon. Try to spot it. Again, Wednesday, January 13th. Why don't you give it a try? The moon is out of the way. Pleiades is a fantastic deep sky object, easy with the naked eye, even from suburban skies, and a cinch with binoculars and telescopes. It looks fantastic through a backyard telescope. Now, how about we move on to January 14th, which is Thursday, and we'll move on to just again after sunset. Let me just post this, switch over to the 14th after sunset. Let's move to sunset, and we go back to our friends Jupiter, Saturn, and Mercury. Look what's going on Thursday evening at sunset. Our friend the moon has now popped over from the morning sky, which we saw Tuesday morning, right? Now we're Thursday, January 14th, and the moon is a sliver, again, a whisker-thin crescent moon, joining the planet parade in the southwestern sky soon after sunset. This is a challenge, folks, to be able to see this, because all of these objects are going to be huddled together low, very low in the southwestern sky. So I see in the chat room's open, guys. Jack from Santa Monica, California. Welcome. Cecilia from New York. David from Minneapolis. Thank you so much for joining wherever you are around the world. Some great stuff for you to see this week. It's a jam-packed week again. Every week is. It's filled with amazing things, and I'm here to help you, guide you in finding these things in your calendar. And don't forget to mark your calendar, and I'll be posting skywatching, sky event charts for all of this stuff on my timeline and on Facebook, and of course on Instagram. Join me, and we'll explore the skies together. So check that out. The moon, Thursday, January 14th, soon after your local sunset, whisker-thin crescent moon. Look at that right next to it. The moon will be a wonderful guidepost. Take your binoculars out. If you've got binoculars, great time to bring them out and see if you can still spot Jupiter and Saturn. It's just going to be a real challenge, I think, being able, if I just move this and move ahead as the minutes go by after sunset, this is going to be a challenge to see. Look at that. As it's getting darker, look what's going on. The planets are following the sun and they're setting. So you'll have this critical window of seeing it right after sunset and before the planets set in the minutes that follow. And of course, if you wait long enough, the skies will darken and you'll still see Mercury and the moon. Beautiful pairing. Again, this is Thursday, January 14th, soon after sunset. Get outside before the sun sets. Make sure never to look at the sun with your naked eye or with telescopes or binoculars. You do not want to damage your vision of your eye. Wait until the sun has set, and bingo, you'll be able to start hunting down the moon, Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter. Fantastic sight for Thursday. And if we move over to Friday, January 15th, look where the moon is much higher up, will be an easier sight to see. Mercury is still beautifully pinning down the southwest, the innermost planet. Usually it's a difficult planet to see. It is a challenge unto itself to see Mercury in our skies. But on January 14th and 15th, the moon will guide you. It's going to be spectacular, beautiful. Thursday will be a great photo op, as is Friday. If you want to take your smartphones out or your DSLRs, tripods and snap some photos, do a control timer on your device, and see if you can capture some amazing views, and do share them with me on my timeline, on my Facebook channel, and I'd love to see it on my, also tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see and share your photos with that. So that's Friday. And then on Saturday, here's on the weekend, something interesting is still staying with the theme that we've got here. We move over to Saturday. Notice that the moon now is going to be a guidepost to the farthest major planet, Neptune. So Saturday night, check out the Moon and Neptune. The Moon, Neptune, remember, you need a binocular or telescope to see. And with the moon being a thin crescent, this is a great opportunity without having too much glare from the moon, blocking, filtering out that feeble light from Neptune. Remember, Neptune is billions of miles away from us. We're seeing the sunlight, reflecting off those icy clouds of Neptune. It's bluish green disk that you'll see, and you're hunting it above the moon on Saturday night, January 16th. We're talking January 16th. Above the crescent moon Saturday evening. And if we wait until, of course, it gets a little darker weekend to see the skies, beautiful, lots, still very dark. You can see a lot of stars. But if we kind of look mid-evening, and you look sort of as close, high above your skies. Now, this is it for you, all of you in the northern hemisphere, especially those of you that are in higher latitudes, like Washington, D.C., Seattle, New York City, London, Rome, those kind of city area. And you look high up in late at night, you'll see a bright star. And the brightest star that will greet you will be Capella in the constellation Auriga. Okay, the shepherd. Very nice, beautiful, bright yellow star. And this star is something that's about 42 light years away. It is a dominant star in the evening skies. And this weekend, with the moon being just a sliver, try that on Saturday night. It's a really very cool for the weekend. That is a fun thing to see. And that'll be just above the Gemini constellation, bright stars. Capella is just above the Gemini stars, I should say. And then you've got the Orion brilliant stars, a retinue of stars with Rigel and Betelgeuse. There's Betelgeuse. There's Rigel for you. You've got, of course, Aldebaran, our friends that we've talked about for this week. So a jam-packed week. And, of course, Capella, just a beautiful bright star. Knocks your eyes out, has this kind of orangey yellow tinge. See if you can see that orange yellow tinge of Capella right there for you, right above. There's Capella. We'll mark it there. That is high up in your skies in the east, southeast for this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, January 16th and 17th. Look at that. It's just a fantastic. So we got a jam-packed week again, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I love that all of you guys everywhere. I'll be looking through your comments, seeing what questions you guys have. Stay tuned for sky charts for all of these things. Also, make sure to check out my YouTube channel where I have posted my picks for the top skywatching events for this year, for 2021. There's 10 events that I've chosen as I think are probably the most impressive visually to see. So check those out. A lot of those are just something you can enjoy, actually all of them with the naked eye. So without telescopes or binoculars. Some you might have to travel for. Some you can see right out of your doorstep, wherever you are around the world. So check that out on YouTube. And I invite you to please, if you like this video and you would like to see more of them, please show your support by hitting that like button, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook, and please do subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends and family so we can get more people to go out skywatching. It's a fantastic thing, no matter if it's summer or winter time. There's always something easy to see in the sky and things that you can see with maybe your new telescope or binoculars that or maybe an old one that you have lying around in a closet somewhere. So do join me. I'm here every week, every Monday, and I'll be here next week, same time, same place. And until then, I wish all of you to stay safe and healthy, and of course, clear skies. Bye-bye.